Good morning, students. Today's topic is Air Microbiology by Dr. Raghusudha, Assistant Professor in Microbiology, Government City College, Hyderabad. Since the air does not, under normal conditions, contains the nutrients and moisture for growth, maintenance, and multiplication of microorganisms, it could not be considered their natural environment. Nevertheless, air normally abounds in their numbers as microorganisms gain entry into it from soil and other dry decomposed materials, including excrete exposed to the action of wind. Airborne microorganisms become an important source of contamination in laboratories, hospitals, industries, and of exposed food material and drinks. Depending upon the nature of the microorganisms, some contaminations may cause spoilage of contaminated products and diseases were ingested. By mere sneeze and cough, infection from mouth and lungs may be discharged into the air around. In view of this, knowledge of quantity and quality of air microorganisms seems essential because we need pure air for respiration. As stated earlier, air is not a medium for microorganisms but is a carrier of particulate matter, dust, and droplets which remain generally laden with microorganisms. These carriers transport microorganisms, and the ultimate fate of such microorganisms is governed by a complex set of conditions such as sunlight, temperature, humidity, size of the microbe laden particulates, degree of susceptibility, or resistance of a particular microbe to the new physical environment, and the ability of microbes to form resistant spores or cysts. In still air, the microorganisms tend to settle down quickly with their carriers, leaving the air fairly free of them. The air after heavy rains is fairly free of microorganisms. Development even of slightest current can keep the microorganisms suspended in the air for protracted period of time. In general, air above the warmer regions of the earth harbors greater number of microorganisms than that above cooler regions provided adequate humidity is present. Inadequate ventilation of inhabited buildings promotes greater accumulation of microbial number in the airspace. The air of an uncrowded and not heavily industrialized mountains, regions, and oceans is considered pure and good for health as it is relatively free from microorganisms. Air Aerobiology is defined as a study of life present in the air. Aeromicrobiology relates to the study of environmentally relevant microorganisms. Microorganisms exist within 300 to 1000 feet of Earth's surface that have become attached to fragments of dried leaves, straw, or dust particles light enough to be blown by the wind. In dry weather, the microbial load of air is high, while in wet weather, the rain washes the microorganisms from the air. Air is a poor medium for microbial growth, too dry and non nutritious. Spore forming and gram positive bacteria are resistant to drying. Dust, water droplets in air carry microbial populations from one place to the another. Sneezing, coughing, talking are efficient methods of transferring microbes from one respiratory tract to the another. Liquid and dust particles settle in the respiratory tract depending on their velocity and size. Microorganisms colonize specific locations in the respiratory tract. In the picture, we can see type of microorganisms colonizing in different regions of the upper respiratory tract and the lower respiratory tract. In the upper respiratory tract, nasal cavity, Staphylococcus aureus is harbored by Staphylococcus aureus, oral cavity by Neisseria meningitidis, Streptococcus pyogenes, and Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Pharynx consists of Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Larynx consists of Haemophilus influenzae. While in the lower respiratory tract, trachea, primary bronchus, influenza virus, secondary bronchus, Coccidioides immitis, terminal bronchus, Bordetella pertussis, Streptococcus pneumoniae, alveoli ducts, alveolar sacs, and alveoli, we can see Coxiella burnetii and Chlamydia psittaci. Let us see some airborne microorganisms. Bacteria comprises a heterogeneous group varying in size from zero point 0.3 to 10 to 15 micrometers, and those bacteria that are capable of withstanding prolonged desiccation only can persist in air for long periods. Fortunately, such forms are saprophytic. Among them are sporulating species of bacilli, cocci like Sarsinia, and non-sporulating rods like Serratia. However, it is common to find throat and mouth inhabiting bacteria exemplified by Streptococcus, Staphylococcus, Pneumococcus, etc. in the air. Without any active dispersal mechanism, the bacteria are carried in air via mechanical disturbance of particulate matter and on clothing and surgical dressings, etc. Bacteria laden minute droplets are continuously thrown into air by rain splashes, breakers, or sea sprays, sneezing, or coughing. Indoor source of airborne bacteria are mainly the man and animals. Protozoa, most of the protozoa are transported as cysts. The cysts range from 2 to 50 micrometers in diameter. When protozoa are not in cyst condition, they vary in shape from irregular plasmoidal to rigid, flattened, or ovoid. Usually, cysts of protozoans are found in the air. Other forms of protozoans are not found in the air. Next type of microorganism is microalgae. Some common airborne microalgae are Chlamydomonas, Chlorococcum, Gongrosira, Formidium, Protococcus, Diatoms, Pyrogyra, Oscillatoria, Chlorella, Amphora. Some cyanobacteria forms, otherwise known as blue-green algae, like Olocera, Lingbe, Nostac have also been reported in air. Microalgae are airborne mainly due to their air currents even in the absence of adaptation for takeoff into air. A regular constituent of airborne microalgae comprises of algal cysts or other resting stages. The microalgae in the range of 1 to 90 micrometers are significant in respiratory diseases and allergies, as these are retained by the mucous membrane of the respiratory tract. Next type of microorganism present in the air is microfungi. The fungal spores are the propagative phase of microfungi, and many of which are adapted to air transport. The density of fungal spores in still air is approximately 1. However, they are able to remain suspended in the atmosphere and become disseminated through the action of turbulent air movement, even though they are subjected to gravity. Hyphal fragments of microfungi constitute a significant population of air spora. These are primarily the conidiophores of asexual forms. Culturing of these hyphal forms revealed that they mostly belong to Cladosporium, Alternaria, and Penicillium. These usually inhabit leaves of many plants and are dispersed due to scrubbing action of the infected plant, which occurs during air currents. Let us see some important disease of humans transmitted from person to person by inhaled airborne particles. Virus diseases like chickenpox, flu, measles, German measles, and mumps are transmitted through airborne particles. Bacterial diseases like whooping cough caused by Bordetella pertussis, meningitis by Neisseria species, diphtheria, pneumonia, and tuberculosis are transmitted from person to person by inhaled airborne particles. Several other diseases are acquired by inhaling particles from environmental sources, not directly from an infected person. Diseases like Psittacoccus caused by Chlamydia psittaci. The source is dried powder droplets from infected birds like parrots, pigeons, etc. Legionnaires disease caused by Legionella pneumophilia. Source is droplets from air conditioning systems, water storage tanks where the bacterium grows. The third disease is acute allergic alveolitis caused by various fungal and actinomycetes spores. The source is fungal or actinomycetes spores from decomposing organic matter. Aspergillosis caused by Aspergillus species like Fumigatus, Flavus, and Niger. Source is fungal spores inhaled from decomposing organic matter. Histoplasmosis caused by Histoplasma capsulatum. Source is the spores of fungi in old withered bat or bird droppings. Coccidiomycosis caused by Coccides immitis. The source is spores in air blown dust in desert regions like Central, South, and North America, where the fungus grows in the soil. Apart from these, airborne particles cause even hypersensitivity or allergy. There are two types of hypersensitivity: immediate allergic reactions and delayed allergic reactions. Immediate allergic reactions is usually caused by spores of Puccinia, Cladosporium, and Alternaria, while delayed allergic reactions is caused by Actinomycetes, Aspergillus, and Penicillium spores. Now let us see studying these airborne microorganisms by microbial techniques. The collection of airborne microorganisms is known as air sampling. It's essential for assessment of air quality in laboratories, hospitals, and industries. There are five methods of air sampling. First one, active monitoring. Second, passive monitoring or sediment plate technique. Third, sieve samplers. Then fourth one is gelatin membrane filtration. Fifth, impactors. Active monitoring, the micro air sampler is used to force air into or onto its collection media. Usually it is a petri dish with nutrient agar or over a specific period of time. The collected culture can then be incubated and analyzed, that is, count bacteria or fungal colony forming units and identify if required. In passive monitoring, settle plate technique is used. The settle plates are nothing but petri dishes with media are opened and exposed to the air for a specific period of time to determine what microbiological particles may be present in the environment, and they may settle out of the ambient air and onto the medium surface of the petri dish. These plates are then incubated and analyzed. In the picture we can see plates through settle plate techniques, that is before exposure to air at one side, and the other side after exposure and incubation we can see the plates with the colonies. The third method is sieve samplers. Stacked sieve samplers can have up to 6 stages of perforated plates and agar plates. Each perforated plate is held above an agar plate with successive plates having small holes. At a constant flow, larger particles impact on the first stage, whereas smaller particles impact on the last impaction stage. The major advantage of the stacked sieve impactor is that it can provide data on particle size. Fourth method is gelatin membrane filtration. Air is sampled at a programmable flow rate and passed through the gelatin membrane filter, which captures the microbes. The filter is 300 micrometers thickness, absolute retention rate, and the only method that also reliably captures airborne viruses. Air entering the sampler must first pass through the filter, thereby ensure microbes as not reintroduced into the atmosphere. The fifth method is impactors. Example in a slit to agar impactor, a known volume of air is drawn by the vacuum through a slit opening and then accelerated and directed towards the surface of a petri dish containing an agar medium. The same thing can be seen in the picture. The plate rotates on a turntable at a selectable rate of speed, and the impacted microorganisms are separated spatially by the plate's rotation, providing an analysis based on time. The microorganisms, because of their higher mass, becomes impacted on the agar surface, while the rest of the air mass flows around the plate and exits the air sampler. Conclusion: companies can take measures to identify contamination events earlier for food safety. Air monitoring can ensure products are manufactured to the desired specifications. Additionally, new technologies for air monitoring can help detect contamination events faster and prevent future instances. Thank you.